The Aegis Ballistic Missile Defense System, Aegis BMD or ABMD, also known as Sea-Based Midcourse, is a United States Department of Defense Missile Defense Agency program developed to provide missile defense against short to intermediate range ballistic missiles. The program is part of the United States National Missile Defense Strategy and European NATO Missile Defense System. Aegis BMD is an expansion of the Aegis combat system deployed on warships, designed to intercept ballistic missiles in post-boost phase and prior to reentry. Aegis BMD-equipped vessels can engage potential threats using the RIM-161 Standard Missile 3, SM-3, Midcourse Interceptors and the RIM-156 Standard Missile 2 Extended Range Block IV, SM-2ER Block IV, or RIM-174 Standard Extended Range Active Missile, SM-6, Terminal Phase Interceptors. Notable subcontractors and technical experts include Boeing Defense, Space, and Security, Alliant Techsystems, ATK, Honeywell, Engility, Naval Surface Warfare Center, SPAWAR Systems Center, Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Laboratory, JHUAPL, and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology Lincoln Laboratory, Lincoln Lab. On November 17, 2020, an Aegis Ballistic Missile Defense (BMD) system-equipped destroyer intercepted and destroyed a Threat Representative Intercontinental Ballistic Missile (ICBM) target with a Standard Missile 3, SM-3, Block IV missile during a flight test demonstration in the Broad Ocean area northeast of Hawaii. The Aegis BMD uses the RIM-161 Standard Missile 3 Midcourse Interceptors and the RIM-156 Standard Extended Range Block IV, SM-2ER Block IV, Terminal Phase Interceptors developed by Raytheon.
The Standard Missile 3 is a development of the SM-2ER Block IV, capable of intercepting ballistic missiles above the atmosphere, i.e., exo-atmospheric intercept, during the mid-course phase of a hostile ballistic missile's flight.
The missile is launched from the Mk-41 Vertical Launching System, VLS, of the warships. It receives in-flight target updates from the ship. The kinetic warhead, KW, is designed to destroy a ballistic missile's warhead with more than 130 megajoules of kinetic energy by colliding with it. The existing SM-3 Block IA version will be upgraded to SM-3 Block IB, SM-3 Block IA and SM-3 Block IIB to counter future ballistic missile threats.
The SM-2ER Block IV can engage the ballistic missiles within the atmosphere, i.e., endo-atmospheric intercept, in the terminal phase of a missile's trajectory.
The missile carries a blast fragmentation warhead. The SM-2ER Block IV was further developed in a new extended range active missile, RIM-174 Standard ARM, Standard Missile 6, which adds an active radar homing seeker.
SM-6 is a dual-capability missile that can be used for either air defense, i.e.,
countering aircraft and anti-ship cruise missiles, or terminal ballistic missile defense. It is not meant to replace the SM-2 series of missiles, but will serve alongside and provide extended range and increased firepower. In January 2018, the Navy approved plans to develop a dual-thrust rocket motor for the SM-6, with a larger 21-inch diameter to replace the current 13.5-inch propulsion package. The new rocket motor would sit atop the current 21-inch booster, producing a new variant of the missile, the SM-6 Block IB. In March 2018, the MDA announced it is evaluating the technical feasibility of the capability of the SM-3 Block IA missile, currently under development, against an ICBM-class target. If proven to be effective against an ICBM, this missile could add a layer of protection, augmenting the currently deployed GMD system. The MDA plans to conduct a demonstration of the SM-3 Block IA against an ICBM-like target by the end of 2020. On November 17, 2020, an SM-3 Block IA missile successfully intercepted a Threat Representative Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, ICBM, target in its mid-course phase of flight, reaffirming the capability to intercept non-separating, simple separating, and complex separating ballistic missiles. A land-based component, Aegis Ashore, also is being developed. The first site to be declared operational was in Romania in 2016. This consists of equipment commonly used by the Navy being deployed in land-based facilities. This includes SPY-1 radars and a battery of Standard Missile 3s. The Obama administration's plans call for two sites, the first in Romania at Dvzeliu that was opened in May 2015 and the second in Radzikowo, Poland, planned for 2018, but delayed twice, to 2022. In 2020, both will get the latest versions of the Aegis BMD software and the latest version of the SM-3. Some radar facilities will be placed in Turkey at a future date.
On May 21, 2014, U.S. DoD headline, Standard Missile completes first test launch from Aegis Ashore test site, and reported that the Missile Defense Agency, the U.S. Navy, and sailors at the Aegis Ashore Missile Defense Test Complex and Pacific Missile Range Facility, PMRF, successfully conducted the first flight test involving components of the Aegis Ashore system.
During the test, a simulated ballistic missile target was acquired, tracked, and engaged by the Aegis weapon system. At approximately 7:35 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time, May 20th, 1:35 a.m. EDT, May 21st, the Aegis weapon system fired a standard missile, SM-2ER Block IV guided missile from the vertical launch system. Several fire control and engagement functions were exercised during the test. A live target missile launch was not planned for this flight test. On December 19, 2017, the Cabinet of Japan approved a plan to purchase 2 Aegis Ashore systems equipped with the ANSPY-7V1, based on Lockheed Martin's LRDR to increase Japan's self-defense capability against North Korea, using SM-3 Block IV missiles, and also could work with SM-6 interceptors capable of shooting down cruise missiles. The installation sites are at a ground self-defense force training area in Araya District, Akita Prefecture and the Mutsumi Training Area in Hagi, Yamaguchi Prefecture. On June 15, 2020, Japanese Defense Minister Taro Kono announced that work had been halted on the deployment of the system because additional costs would be needed to ensure that residential buildings would not be hit by rocket boosters used to launch the missiles. Later in the month, Japan's National Security Council confirmed the cancellation of the plan. On September 23, 2020, Lockheed Martin commented that it'll be expensive to potentially convert the AA system for maritime use since a revamp in the design is required. In July 2020, Admiral Philip S. Davidson, the head of United States Indo-Pacific Command, advised that he sought funding to construct an Aegis Ashore system in Guam by 2026, both to defend existing U.S. military facilities on Guam and to provide offensive long-range precision strike capability into the first island chain dominated by China. Speaking in March 2021, Davidson said that the Guam defense system of an Aegis Ashore facility would free up 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers for service elsewhere. Davidson said that Chinese submarines and surface ships together with its ballistic missiles pose a 360-degree threat to Guam beyond the capabilities of the existing Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System on Guam. The U.S., Romania and Poland have deployed the land-based Aegis BMD. Test installation was built at the U.S. Pacific Missile Range Facility in Hawaii in 2000s. A site in Divzelu, Romania is operational since 2016, while a site at Rzymkowo, Poland will become operational in 2022. Though Japan intended to deploy 2 sites which would use an ANSPY-7ER radar, these plans were cancelled in 2020. Possible deployments of Aegis Ashore include U.S. Naval Base at Guam. The U.S., Romania and Poland have deployed the land-based Aegis BMD. Test installation was built at the U.S. Pacific Missile Range Facility in Hawaii in 2000s. A site in Divzelu, Romania is operational since 2016. While a site at Rzymkowo, Poland will become operational in 2022. Though Japan intended to deploy 2 sites which would use an ANSPY-7ER radar, these plans were cancelled in 2020. Possible deployments of Aegis Ashore include U.S. Naval Base at Guam. As of October 2017, there were 5 Ticonderoga-class cruisers and 28 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, DDGs 51-78, of the U.S. Navy's Arleigh Burke-class destroyers equipped with BMD in the U.S. Navy. Of the 33 ships, 17 are assigned to the Pacific Fleet and 16 to the Atlantic Fleet. The Navy's FY 2015 30-year, FY 2015-FY 2043, shipbuilding plan projects that the total number of Aegis cruisers and destroyers will be between 80 and 97 during the 30-year period. USS Carney, DDG-64, USS Ross, DDG-71, and USS Donald Cook, DDG-75, were upgraded in fiscal year 2012, while USS Cole, DDG-67, USS McFall, DDG-74, and USS Porter, DDG-78, were upgraded in fiscal year 2013. The JMSDF has equipped 4 ships of the Congo-class destroyers for LRST and engagement JS Congo, JS Chokai, JS Miyoko, and the JS Kirishima, in 2010. Japan's Foreign Minister, Hirofumi Nakasone, and South Korea's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yum Myung-hwan, agreed that early April 5, 2009, launch of the North Korean Unya-2 satellite violated UN Resolutions 1695 and 1718 of July 2006. Japan's cabinet examined approval of a JMSDF Aegis BMD engagement in the event of a failure of the Taepondong launch. The Japanese government also noted that it could bypass cabinet for an interception under Article 82, Section 2, Paragraph 3 of the Self-Defense Forces Law. In total, 5 Aegis destroyers were deployed at that time. Supplemental to SM-3 capability, the Japanese system incorporates an airborne component. Together, discrimination between platform tests and satellite launches is possible by analyzing the angle of ascent. The Aegis BMD system, coupled with the RIM 161 standard missile, SM-3, has also demonstrated a limited capability as an anti-satellite weapon against satellites in the lower portion of low Earth orbit. On February 20, 2008, USA 193 was destroyed by a group of Aegis ships in the Pacific. The stated reason was concern that satellite's hydrazine payload might contaminate land area upon re-entry from an uncontrolled orbit. The launching vessel was USS Lake Erie, and one SM-3 missile was used. Interception was at an altitude of 133 nautical miles, 247 kilometers. Hope you enjoy this video. Please like, comment and share. Thank you.